we are live with Lunch Break Live. Chef Jesse, take it away.
Hi, hey, thanks for having me. As you know, we're going to be making some sauce for this pizza that I'm making, and I am going to just put a little bit of olive oil into my saucepan here, and then I'm going to put some onions.
Now, this is exciting, you all. This is the first time we've ever had Chicago-style pizza made live here on Lunch Break Live. We got Chef Jesse Gonzales, who steps into the kitchen, 50-year-old fit vegan who makes vegan lifestyle look fabulous and fit. Take it away. What are we doing next?
I'm still sauteing the onions. I actually have grated onions, and it's actually a really good part of the sauce. I actually added this myself. I want to keep stirring it because I don't want it to burn, and so it's kind of a slow process, but it's definitely worth it. It's a really, really, really good sauce, and it actually is a lot better than I know a lot of people love New York style pizza, and I love Screamer's pizza in New York, but Chicago style pizza is just something that I've just always enjoyed eating, and then I thought that I should make a vegan version of it.
I love it. We love when our guests come on here and make what they love to eat, right? Okay, so what do we have next? What's that?
I'm going to put some garlic and some Kalamata olives, actually. The recipe that I made is actually a combination of two different recipes for the sauce. One which actually used anchovies, and anchovies are definitely something that we don't want to use as a vegan or somebody who might be on a plant-based diet. And Kalamata olives are actually a good replacement for anchovies. They're healthier for you, and it's definitely the cruelty-free way to go. So it's definitely something that it's a good replacement. I really like it.
And I can't help but notice the question behind you. The question is not, can you tell us about this while you're cooking up that deliciousness?
I actually go to protests, and I go to vigils, for animals. And I actually wanted to make my own sign. And this is one of my favorite quotes by somebody named Jeremy Bentham. As you can see, is the question is not can they reason, nor can they talk, but can they suffer? And I think that ultimately that's, what's most important is that we all realize that these are living, breathing, feeling beings, and we should show as much compassion as we would like, done unto us. So I put it on a sign, and that's what I take with me.
I love it. I see some delicious products here, you all. You are going to love this. I see Violife. I see Beyond Meat. Wow, this is going to be quite a pizza. Now, you've been vegan for 7 years? Wow, what a journey.
7 years this past November. Actually, I'm sorry, what I just put in are some Italian seasonings and some crushed red pepper. When I went vegan, it was November. I don't remember the exact date, but I know it was November. And I remember telling some of my colleagues that I was going to do so, and they thought I was crazy. They said, a lot of them said, well, just wait till after Thanksgiving, and at least get that out of your system, and then you can stop eating animal products. But they didn't quite understand the reason behind going vegan. It's not about convenience. It's not about it's about justice. It's about trying to cause as little harm to other living beings as possible. So yeah, I mean, I didn't want to wait. It was just something that I knew that I had to do because I know it's the right thing to do. And looking back on it, it's the best decision I've ever made.
Wow. Would you mind showing us what is happening in the pan? Let's take a look.
Right now, like I said, I put the onions and I put some garlic in here. You want to keep moving the garlic. That's why I keep messing with it, because it actually will burn quite easily. So I like to keep it moving. I've got the spices in there. I don't know if you can see that. And I just want to cook it a little. I don't want the garlic to brown. And this is about the right amount of time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some peeled tomatoes, specifically San Marzano tomatoes, and I'm going to put it into the pot. Now these are whole peeled tomatoes, and I am going to crush them with a spoon, but I'm not going to overdo it either, because on a Chicago style pizza, it's actually a very thick, a much thicker sauce than you would have on a regular pizza. So I'm going to crush it with my spoon and mix it right in. Now, typically, this would simmer for like 35 minutes. That way it reduces, it thickens, it concentrates the flavors. But because we're kind of pressed for time, I'm only going to simmer it for about 15 minutes, and then we're going to assemble the pizza. That way you guys can see, the whole process without actually, the time constraint that we would have.
Well, you make it look so easy, and vegan lifestyle so easy too. Now, I understand there is something hiding underneath the towel over there that is rising. Is that the dough?
That is a pizza dough. I did make pizza dough specifically for this pizza. Once again, Chicago style pizza has a different kind of dough. It's a little richer. It has butter in it, and it has cornmeal in it. So it's a completely different flavor. I really, really like it. I think all the parts, stand on their own, and when you put it together, you just have something really, really special. So yeah, I made that pizza dough, but once again, due to the time constraint, I made it ahead of time, and but the ingredients and the directions will definitely be listed.
Yes, we're going to be putting this on the website. Welcome, everybody, to Unchained TV. This is our lunch break live show coming to you live. Now, check this out. Jesse Gonzales recently posted and got a firestorm about his age on social media. Wow. Okay, so while you are working with that sauce, tell us a little bit about the firestorm. Take it away.
I was actually in New York for Vegan Day, and I decided to take this picture, and I feel really good at my age. I think I feel closer to 20 than I do to 50. And I know through my years of experience and activism within veganism that there's this myth that you're going to get sick, or that you're going to get weak, or that it's not sustainable. And I feel better than I ever have. And so I had this idea, well, let me just make this sign where it says, this is what a 50-year-old vegan looks like. And I took the picture, and I never meant to actually share it anywhere on my regular, profile accounts. But as a joke, I posted it on a group called Vegan Humor. And I captioned it with something that I thought would be funny, because it's not true. I just captioned something like, when your friends and family laugh at you for going vegan, but now look who's laughing now. And that's not true in any way. My family and friends have never given me a hard time about being vegan. And I left it as is. I thought it was funny. And maybe a day or two later, I'm starting to get these messages that it's been shared all over the place on different groups, and somehow made its way to Instagram, and it just kind of went around everywhere. And I actually noticed that what was surprising to me was how angry some people got, and not just non-vegans. There were vegans that were actually very angry at that picture. They were angry that I was misleading the public. They were saying, well, no, you can't be 50. That's you're closer to 20 or 30. And I've got some other ones where they said, well, if you're on a plant-based diet, you're not going to instantly gain muscle mass. That's impossible. That you're misleading the public. And I even got lectured. There were some people that were lecturing me. They were saying, well, veganism isn't about being fit. It's not about your health. It's about the animals. And I think that they assumed a lot of things. You know, like I said, my only intention was just to show that you can be healthy. That was it. I wasn't trying to mislead anyone. I mean, obviously, I don't look like I'm 20 or 30. I just happened to, catch, I had some good light that day, and it took a decent picture. And to some of those comments, some of the people that comment, I tried to explain to them, I know veganism is not about food. It's about justice. It's about justice for animals. And all I was doing was just posting this one picture. I just wanted people to know that you can be healthy. I didn't want people being misled anymore that you're going to become frail, you're going to become sick. And it got mostly positive reactions, but it definitely got some people. It offended quite a few people. I would say maybe 10-15% of the comments that I saw were people in disbelief or calling me a liar or something. But
unbelievable. We are live with Lunch Break Live. You all coming to you live. We are making the most amazing pizza. Back to you. I think we've got the sauce ready. Now we're going to be getting that whole thing together. Stay tuned. We got BioLife and Beyond Meat on its way. Take it away. Back to you, Jesse.
Okay, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take my pan and I'm going to put a little bit of olive oil in it. And I am going to get it all over the bottom. Just spread it all over the bottom and on the sides because we don't want it to stick. And I'm going to have to, I just want to make sure that my sauce, is simmering as it's supposed to. But yes, we are going to start assembling it. So now that we have the olive oil on, and this is my cheat day too. I know that a lot of people want to eat, a whole foods unprocessed diet, which is something that I do. Monday through Friday, I'm primarily, having, legumes and grains and other things that are considered more a whole food. But today's a cheat day, and pizza is what I like to have, and this is what I'll be having today. And so this is what I'm making. So here's the dough. As you can see, it's pretty puffy, but if you just put your hand in it a little bit, it sinks right in and comes right out. And I'm just going to plop it right in the middle. What I do next is I actually will just start to spread it out. I'm going to just lower this a little bit. Just spread it outwards.
Okay, now quick question, because inquiring minds want to know, how long does it take you to actually make the dough, and do you let it rise overnight?
Actually, this is a dough recipe that doesn't have to be left overnight. It can actually be used. It takes me about, I guess, from the time I put the yeast and water in the stand mixer to the point to where I finish mixing it. It takes about, I want to say maybe 30 minutes. After that, then it has to sit for an hour and a half. And after that, you can use it, right afterwards. So it doesn't take, it doesn't have to be there overnight. What I'm doing now is, now that I've got it spread out, I'm going to start pulling it towards the walls, kind of going clockwise. If you're in Australia, I guess you have to go counterclockwise.
And if you notice, this is the Chicago style right here, everybody. Take a look. Wow.
And if anybody from Australia is watching, you really need to go to sleep. It's way too late. The video will be up in the morning when you wake up. Get some sleep. So I'm pulling it towards the walls like this. And now that I'm done, what traditionally gets done, and for those of you who don't know, is the cheese goes on the bottom as opposed to the top, on top of the pizza. So I'm going to take some of this BioLife provolone. I really love it. And we're going to put it on the dough. If I can get it open.
I love it. Now, one of the things that so inspires me about you is you enjoy veganizing all your favorite meals.
I do. There's very few things that I haven't tried to make a vegan version of. I've made a menudo, and I've made lasagna. Uh, I have made chicken fried steak. I actually have come up with a few on my own. There's I call it a Monte Cristo Wellington, which I think is really, really good, that I made last Christmas, which I plan on making next weekend. So there really isn't anything that that you can't veganize. And I know that I like to use, BioLife, and Beyond Meat is, one of my favorite meat alternatives. And when I make it, I actually want to make something that tastes like what I used to eat. So I know that there's raw versions of, some of a meat alternative, but I want to make something that tastes very much like what I used to eat, and something that's going to taste like something that a non-vegan is going to like. Because when I first went vegan, as I mentioned, I went vegan for the animals. And when I would try to talk to people about why what was happening to animals was wrong, I quickly realized that one of the first concern that they had was, well, I like to eat hot dogs. What about the tacos? I'm used to eating this type of food. And I like making food that's going to taste like meat, that's going to have that texture, because I think it's going to be appealing to non-vegans. I think that I think with my experience in talking to people, you can't always convince people to care about animals, but you can definitely tell them things that are going to help them with their health, or with the convenience or the flavor of food. So some people, they may never care about, animal cruelty, but they do care about themselves. They do care about their health. They do care about, what they eat. And so I try to make it taste as close to what they were eating, that they're already eating, so that they're willing to give it a try. And when I do so, they usually tell me that they can't tell the difference, that they do like it. I've had guys who told me, well, these breakfast tacos you made, I would eat them every day, so
Amazing.
that's what I'm trying to do.
Real quickly though, can you step back a second and show us that BioLife cheese that you just used, or back up a moment there? Yeah.
As I mentioned earlier, I did put the provolone, and then I put a layer of the shreds, the BioLife mozzarella shreds. That's awesome. What I put next.
And now can we see it? Can we see it up close? We just want to see what it looks like. Bring it right in. Oh yeah, there we go. Spread it out all over the pan. There it is. Awesome. Okay, back to you.
Okay, so now that I've got the cheese at the base, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some meatballs. Now, this isn't traditionally what goes on a Chicago-style pizza. This is just something I had worked out in my head that I wanted to try. And so that's what I'm going to be putting next. I'm going to be putting meatballs in my pizza, because that's what I like. And I just want to put them in there so that there's going to be generally a meatball or two per slice. Now, this is a 14-inch pan, so this is a pretty big pan. It's going to be a pretty big pizza. It's really, really heavy once it gets everything in there. So now that I've got my meatballs, I'm going to put something in there that is traditional to Chicago-style pizza, and that's Italian sausage. So that's what this is. It's Beyond Meat Italian sausage, and I really, really like this. I mean, there's actually, this tastes really, really good, and there really isn't anything by Beyond Meat that I don't like. I mean, I love their breakfast sausage. Their brats are really, really good, and their Italian sausage. It's a game changer. It really, really is good. I mean, you could use it, in so many Italian dishes. So all I'm going to do, just like they do with traditional Chicago-style pizzas, is I'm just going to tear a little piece and I'm going to distribute it around my pie.
Awesome, amazing. Look at this delicious pizza, everybody. Chicago style deep dish with the cheese on the bottom. So stay tuned for more. We're going to see a finished pizza before you know it. Oh my gosh, step by step. Lots of comments about how delicious this is looking. Incredible. So we've got the Violife layer. We've got 2 layers of Violife cheese, and now the Beyond Meat, the sausage, and the meatballs. All right, stay tuned. Chef Jesse, take it away. Back to you.
And right now there's going to be one more layer of cheese. And if I can get it to open up. Yeah, there'll be one last layer, but still it's not going to be the layer that's going to be on top. If I can get this open. There we go. So I'm going to put one more layer of cheese, and I'm going to sprinkle it on top. And I'm going to show you what it looks like so far. I'll get it up to the camera because I know it's a little low. But the dough actually looks like it's sitting beneath all of the ingredients that I've just added, which it is. But because of the yeast and because it's going to rise, it's going to come up above when I'm found.
Look at this. Now you're coming to us live from Texas. And what inspired you to make this particular pizza? Well, you take it away.
I was actually, well, I've actually always enjoyed cooking. I think I was maybe 10 years old when I started taking an interest in cooking. I'm so old that I was actually watching a lot of people may not recognize his name, but there was a guy who had a show called The Frugal Gourmet on PBS. And as a 10-year-old kid, I was watching the show. I actually enjoyed it. And as much as I enjoyed watching football and boxing with my dad, I also enjoyed cooking with my mom just as much. So I'd be in the kitchen with her and I'd be helping her, chop some stuff up and while she was, over the oven. And it's just an interest that I've always had. It wasn't until I got older that I realized that the time that I was spending in the kitchen with my mother, I wasn't just learning something, but I was actually bonding with her as well. So by spending that time there, we could talk and go over issues, which was something that I realized later in life that I appreciated, that I'm glad I did. Now, with this Chicago-style pizza, I was born in San Antonio, and I was a musician after I graduated from high school, and I ended up in Chicago performing there. And I was at a hotel, and there was a menu on the nightstand, and here's this pizza place, and I was hungry, and okay, let's order a pizza from there. And it arrived at our hotel room, and I looked at it, and I'm like, what in the world is this? I'd never seen this pizza that showed up, and with the sauce on top, it was just red on top, and I just couldn't. It was very surprising. But after I was fortunate. The first time I had Chicago-style pizza was in Chicago. But after I had it, there's really nothing like there was nothing like it, nothing that I had ever had. So that's how I ended up having Chicago-style pizza. I always wanted to get some, but living in Houston, it was a little more difficult. There's a few places where you could get it here in Houston. And once I decided that I wanted to be a vegan, the challenge to make a Chicago-style pizza is just one that I didn't shy away from, and I thought was pretty easy. And thanks to these companies that are creating these plant-based products, you end up with something really, really good, just as good as what you would get at a restaurant.
Incredible. All right, everybody. We are rounding up the show very quickly here. Look at this. The sauce looks so tangy. Wow.
So this is the sauce. It looks chunky, and you want it to be chunky. A Chicago-style pizza does not have a thin, watery sauce. You want it to be chunky like this. And what I'm going to do, actually, that one little piece is a little chunkier than I would prefer. So what I'm going to do, and like I said, normally I would actually simmer this for about 35 minutes before I'm finally done. But because we're limited on time, I'm going to go ahead and start putting the sauce on top now. And what I will do is, I don't know if you can see that. Here we go. I'm going to just start putting it on my pizza. Just putting it right on top, as crazy as that may sound to some people, as insulting as that may sound to people from New York. I know some people love their New York pizza. I'm going to put it right on top. Now, because I'm using a 14-inch pan that's 1.5 inches thick, I always end up making twice. I use 2 cans of those San Marzano tomatoes, and I always end up with just a little bit extra, which is definitely not a problem, because then you could, what I will do with the extra is I'll put it on pasta, or later on if I want to make a meatball sub with Beyond Meat meatballs, I'll do that. And so, even though if you're going to use a pan as large as I am, and you're going to be using this amount of sauce, you're going to end up with a little bit extra, but it's, it stays in the refrigerator for, a pretty long time, and you can use it for other stuff. You don't just have to use it for pizza. If you're going to use something smaller because you don't have something as large as a 14-inch pan, you can always use a cast iron pan and just kind of use half of the amount of the ingredients for your pizza, and that will work as well. So, as I mentioned earlier, this is a really, really big, heavy pizza, and once you pick this thing up, I mean, it's got some weight to it. You probably can't tell, but this is a very heavy pizza. I'm not done though. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to put some olive oil around the top of the dough, just around the top like this. Then I'm going to put some over the top like this. Oh, and we need to have some Parmesan. And this is actually Violife Parmesan cheese. I think we have, here we go. When you're looking for it at the store, this is what you're going to find. It's Violife Parmesan cheese. I think it's absolutely the best one on the market right now.
Incredible. Now, I just love the layers to this pizza. You all hang on with the magic of, the movie magic. We're going to see.
Yeah, we're almost done.
Delicious pizza.
And, and I really, and if you can get out there and get some of these products, I think it's really, really important. It's really important to buy meat alternatives, to tell your friends about meat alternatives or dairy or egg alternatives, because what that does what we do with our purchasing power is we're creating a demand, and that demand in turn gets noticed by businesses, and these businesses, they want our dollars. So what they will do is they will compete with each other. With competition comes innovation, and with innovation comes a better product. So it's a win-win for everybody. It's a win for the companies. It's a win for the environment, because we're not using, meat or dairy. It's a win for the animals, which is, of course, is most important to me, because we're not using, animal products. It's a win for your health too, because although, like I said, this is a cheap meal that I would have, there is, as great as I think this tastes, there's no cholesterol in it. This is not something that's going to clog up your arteries. It's a win-win for everybody. Now, now that I've got my Parmesan cheese, and I did put a little bit of olive oil, but I'm gonna put a little bit more. Now it is ready to go into the oven. And so this is what you start off with. This is what it looks like. And I would then take it into the oven, put it inside, and then this is the finished product. This is a big old Chicago-style pizza that weighs a lot. I eat a lot, but I couldn't eat a half of one of these normally. I give it my best shot, though.
Gorgeous. Look at that pizza, everybody. Unbelievable. Hang tight with that. Look at that, everybody. Get your last looks, and I'm sure this is mouthwatering for everyone to see. Thank you so much, Jesse, for joining us here on Lunch Break Live, and all of the viewers as well. And we will definitely see you next time. Take care.